All right, all right, all right. Welcome, 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 welcome to Word Association. Everybody that's out there, I know you getting hype. Get your drink. Let me see, baby. Got your drink? All right. I don't know if my guest has their drink, but they can go get one too. And make sure it's holy, okay? Holy water, holy tea, holy tea, whatever. It's going to be awesome. All right. So we are actually streaming live in the IME Millennial International, this long word, Millennial Explosion International boom, Facebook group and the YouTube page. Now, really quick, we always do this. This is one of the things we do when we are together as a group, and we just want to tell you our vision and our purpose really quick. So our group was actually founded by Prophetess Beverly Douglas, and our vision for our group is to mentoring and propelling young adults ages 21 to 40 to their purpose, destiny, and assignment. So today I have an awesome couple, a millennial couple, not just any couple, but these are actually good friends of ours. And I'll start with the introduction of their name, which is Takandra and Eric Brown. Can you guys say hi?
Hello.
Hey.
How is everyone doing?
Awesome. And I have my co-host here, Mr. Alfred Sloan.
Hello. How you doing?
All right. So he was actually given a prophetic word. I'm gonna mention it. 2008 of memorizing scripture. So I don't know if that's gonna, if he's done that or not. I'm not putting him out there, but anyways, we'll see. He's taking a sip. Okay. So really quick, a little bit about our guests on tonight. They are actually the founders of a awesome group that's called Built to Last Marriages. And most of the people that they attract to this is millennials. So this is amazing. And they are going to be playing the game with us tonight. So we are super excited. So let's get into this game. Are you ready?
Hey, do you want to have them give a little background on there?
Sure. Let's get a little background. Just a little bit, because I'm going to give you some more.
Just a little bit. So Built to Last Marriages is basically a small group, if you will, that we founded back in 2014. My husband and I are a military couple, and what we found was lacking in our community were, solid marriage mentors, faith-based mentors, believers, and we decided to open up a group amongst our friends. We came together and created a community where we could just normalize some of our experiences as young and married couples, and basically to help lay that foundation of love, everything that we do in our marriage. Love, faith, hope, to help us overcome the obstacles that we face as a married couple, especially in the military community. We face so many challenges, unique challenges in the military. So we needed that community just to come together and to encourage each other to keep going, because divorce is high when you've been married young. Anyway, right. We got married young. So
what age did you get married?
We were 19 and 20.
Yeah. Ooh, that's young. Yeah.
Oh.
It's been 15 years.
Yep.
So, yeah. So
we were at 22 and almost 26 when we got married.
I think you just gave me some more years. I think you were 21.
No,
were you 22?
I just turned 22.
Okay, I'm bad at math. I'm bad at math on the spot. I'm great at math when I study. So
there you go.
If
y'all are too.
Okay.
If we put it in monetary terms, she would have had that right off the bat.
Right.
25 cents. No.
Okay, so before we get into the game, give us one tip. Like if somebody's young, maybe they're around you guys' ages as when you got started, or ours a little bit after. What would be one tip for like millennials?
The one tip I love the most is that recognizing that you're in war against the enemy together. The enemy of your marriage is not your partner. We're battle buddies, but the enemy tries to turn us against each other. And one thing that we always remember, we wear the same uniform so that we can recognize who's on the same team when we have to go to war. So that's one tip. Recognize that your spouse is your battle buddy, not your enemy.
All right. Well, I hope you guys are taking notes out there. And look, this is not even the dating show, but hey, might as well talk about it. Yeah. All right. So let's get into this game and let's have some fun and see how much you know or don't. All right. So here's the first word. Everybody can see. The first word is love. And you have 10 seconds to give me some either a scripture, inspirational, something, or something positive about love. Here we go.
Or song lyric.
Or a song lyric. That would be even better. Here we go.
Go.
Oh, love and happiness.
Never do wrong.
All right, Pastor Al Green. You can't go wrong with him.
Come on, Al had it right.
That's right.
That's all we need in marriage: some love and some happiness. Okay.
That's what they say. Look, you need love even when you don't have a marriage too. That's what
You need love.
Oh my gosh. What's the song? Do either of you know a song for the word love?
I know an old one.
I got a Kirk Franklin one.
Yeah, give me the Kirk Franklin.
Yes. Fire. I was gonna say Music Soul Child.
I don't want to sing it.
That's what I was thinking.
Or that one.
Soul Child.
Yeah.
What? How to love? Kirk?
Love, a word that comes and goes.
Oh,
but two
that's
people
a throwback.
really knows.
Yeah, back in the day. Talking about that God's property.
So
Okay, that was a good one. That was a good one.
I know.
All right, come
I
on.
want us to sing on it.
No, because I'm not singing. I'm gonna tell you that now. No,
Go ahead, sing it. Do it if you want to do it. Let the Lord use him.
I don't do the great. I don't do the great.
Oh gosh. All right, we're gonna go to the next word. All right, let's see how good you are. This is actually gonna be for you, Brother Alfred.
Y'all turn.
Brother Alfred.
Oh, the word? I got a different word?
You got a different word, brother. Here we go.
Ooh, what's the word?
And no, I ain't throwing shots. Go ahead.
I feel like this is a
Night is your word. Night. You got
This
10
is-
seconds to counting.
This is real dark skin of you. I feel
Come
that. I feel the shade.
There's no shade.
I'm blanking right now. Come on.
You better give a word. Meditate on his word day and night.
Good. Yeah, she spoke for me. She knew.
Come on, y'all won. That's right.
Sheesh.
For silent night.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's in the Bible, but that's a good song. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that song. That is not in my iPod at all.
All right. Next word. All right, back to the Browns. So right now, if those are accounting, the Browns have 1 point and the Sloans over here have 1. All right. Sweet.
What's the scripture? How sweet do your words taste to me? It's a scripture. I don't know what it's in Proverbs.
It's called How Sweet Do Your Words Taste to Me?
Something like that. Y'all Google it.
How sweet.
It's where it talks about he's sweeter than a honeycomb, but the first part of that scripture says something about how sweet your words taste to me. You just gonna leave me hanging? Come on with something else if you can.
Yeah, I'm with it. I think that's wrong.
Somebody Google it.
I got another song.
Put it in the comments.
We'll give it to you.
It was in Psalms. Yeah.
It's Psalms 119, 103.
That was it.
I got my stage crew back there. They're looking it up.
Thank you.
Thank you, crew.
Said thank you. All right. Yeah. So Psalms 119, 103 says, "How sweet are your words to my taste."
There we go.
Ah.
See, that's it.
Yeah.
I said Proverbs songs.
Sweeter than honey in my mouth.
There we go. That's it.
So before we go into the next word, so what we gonna do with that one?
It's not sweet.
I know, but it's in the word. It's associated with sweet.
Exactly.
You call me
I
sweet
used to
tea,
call her
but
a
it
sweet
was
tea or sweetness.
All right now.
All right now.
Well. It's still early. Look. So as far as the sweet, so out of the 3 words that we kind of chose, or that she exhibited, love, night, and sweet. Is there anything that is symbolic for you guys as far as any of those words in your relationship?
I think with love, I think it's always evolving. I don't think it's ever at one level. I don't think you can love a person at one level for your whole entire life, especially in marriage. So I think our love, it evolves. It grows. It gets better. It gets stronger.
That's right.
It is an action word. It's always in motion.
Mm-hmm. And it's sweet.
And it's sweet, and especially at night.
Tell them, let them know what it is.
Day and night. That's what the word said. Meditate. Let me
Meditate.
tell them. All right now. This millennials in here, so y'all can take this. Y'all be all right.
We'll be fine.
Okay. The Lord use him. All right. Next word.
This is for you, huh?
Y'all turn. It's y'all turn.
Yeah, it's for us. Oh Lord.
It's on you.
It was the last one was on me. You better tap that in the scripture. Anyway. All right. Dream.
Oh.
You know this one. You know something for this. I know a little something. I'll let them count, but go ahead. You don't know scripture for dream.
Yeah.
It's still early. I'm
Come on.
I'm dreaming. No, Jacob's Ladder when he's drunk.
No, that's a movie. Keep going.
No, Jacob. Yeah, Jacob drunk.
No, I don't think that.
Yeah, he slept and drunk.
Yeah, old men shall dream dreams. My
And
God,
young men shall see visions.
I can't leave my brother hanging. I can't leave him hanging. Woo! That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sorry. We're gonna get it together.
So what did you go with? The old man?
Oh, the old.
Joel and Joel. Come on.
Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions.
Don't try to complete the scripture. You need
There
to
you
know
go.
it from the top. Look,
That's the full scripture.
I ain't gonna be there at the pearly gates. When he
Yeah.
trying to get in, the
That
pearly
was Paul
gates.
that found you. You know,
Look.
you threw the pass, you dunked it.
We told my one, we were joking. We told this one person, don't you know to get into heaven, you need to know one scripture,
Jesus
one
wept.
worship song, and a praise song. I said, do you have that down? Do you have your lamp with the oil?
Mm.
So it's like, oh, I don't have that. Wait a minute. I said, well, you better figure that out. I said, I can't be at the gates with you, trying to remind you of these scriptures, these songs, and these worship.
That's true.
I know, and it's not true, you guys. It's not really true.
Right.
But they thought it was true, and it was funny. It just was a joke.
I just want to know where the oil came into play because that was my question.
The oil. Seriously, we're not gonna go there. Anyway. All right. Next one. The Browns. Right now it's tied. Nobody has lost. All right, here you go. Your words built.
Built to last
Built
marriages.
to last.
All right. Built to
Or
last.
we can go with, we are. You gonna sing?
No,
Okay.
I just always have a song for everything. So
Well, that's of course our ministry. So,
Yeah.
Built to last. That was easy. We got
Do you guys have a theme song for it? Is there a theme song for it?
there is a theme song.
Yeah, but it just says
It's just a-
we are built to last. That's
Yeah,
all.
we not singing.
Okay, that's the song. We are built to last. All right. All right, everybody got that. The one that came to me was the Lord. What was it? My hope is built on nothing.
Nothing less.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's back to church,
Ain't that
right?
a song?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Did anyone ever change some of those songs? Like, have they put them out? All the songs we used to sing. You know, like people talk about them, but I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that was in the hymnal.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, my
Definitely the
bad.
red
My
book.
bad. All right. Next word. All right. Here we go.
You have it?
Yes, I do. Work. Work, Brother Alfred.
Work out your own soul salvation.
All right.
That's it. And also, work.
No, that's not the one.
That's where I went, bro.
Oh, Lord,
We right here.
no.
We right here.
How do you work out your own salvation, Brother Alfred?
Y'all, they working that out.
My cup is empty.
What did it say? Fear and trembling, right? Or something like that.
Yes, work out your own soul salvation with fear and trembling.
Oh my gosh.
That don't mean be afraid though. It just means
Yeah, I don't think of that. I didn't think
I
that.
got all things work.
together.
Oh, all things work together. Yes.
For them that carry 30 round bags, you better say that.
Nah, he said for them that carry 30 round bags. So, we gonna get Facebook kicked us off. Oh Lord. All right, you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
We're tied. Next word.
Is this on us?
No, that's on them. They got back. Hey,
I won't go back.
Okay, that's good.
Won't go back the way you used to be. Oh, your presence came and saved me. Oh, I know.
That was
Say that.
I have told you.
yes. Oh Lord. Y'all doing good. Y'all good.
Oh,
Don't do it.
oh,
No.
y'all don't want to hear what she just said.
No.
You know what she said? What she said?
Baby,
Oh no.
She said, "Baby, got me back." That's exactly what she said.
I don't remember that in the scripture.
What
But
is it?
anyway, look, I don't know if that's an inspiration. That might be inspirational for somebody though.
that was like
Because if you're working on something back there, you exercise, it could be inspiration. for you.
that was like Genesis 1 or when they got kicked out. Genesis 3, like right before 4 started when she got pregnant. That was what Adam said.
Oh Lord.
That was, I'm telling you, right?
Or that was, what did you say when?
No, they left the garden and then she
No,
got pregnant.
Adam, what did you say?
Nope.
Abraham and Sarah. Don't look back.
That was Lot.
That was
Ooh,
like,
That was
don't
yeah.
look back.
yeah.
I didn't hear that. All right. So
Abraham and Sarah. What was she looking back at?
somebody, it don't matter. You know
Look
who?
back.
Somebody. No, it was.
No,
She turned into a pillar of salt, right?
Sarah did not know. Sarah,
You turned into salt. Oh, it was
Sarah-
my bad. All right. Well, anyway. All right. Next one. Moving forward. All right, here's the next word.
We won't go
and
back.
this is for the Sloans. Oh,
yeah. Oh, my bad. That's wrong.
no, that's not right.
My bad.
That's the wrong person.
Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good.
Yeah.
Oh, tasting free.
Oh, it's always a happy song, so you can't go.
That's the song.
All right. There's nobody like you, Lord.
So
Yeah.
before we jump into it, so we're gonna kind of chop on our side. So
Mhm.
we're gonna throw a little bit of a curveball. The last three words that we had we had back, and we had work. As far as wow, I'm gonna keep it G-rated.
Yes,
But,
G-rated. Thank you.
When was the first day when you really realized that you couldn't look back?
Oh, I can look back to like what?
Period. Just a general question. When is the first day, whether it's in relationally or in life, or you reached your point that you realized you just couldn't go back?
Oh, okay. When I realized excuses were not enough. Because I definitely,
Where is
I
my?
don't know if y'all can identify. Don't you write this down?
Listen, I'm about to put a tag on that. Hold on. My
Cash App
checkbook
is
out.
let me stop. No, the day I realized his excuses were not enough, because it's so easy to revert back to things that you're comfortable or places that you're comfortable to reverting back to, or just because you just don't feel like it. You literally do have days like that.
Right.
But when you realize excuses are not enough and you're confirming or doing affirmations of I am enough, then those don't go together.
Mm.
So yeah, how about you?
For me, I would say when I decided I was ready to get married. Is a difference between you finding somebody and making the decision after the fact because you're like, oh, I can't live without this person, versus you being a single individual, male or female, and making the choice that you want to pursue that relationship and that responsibility. This was even, prior to me meeting you. So at the end of the day, I feel like lining myself up with that intention and making sure that I was focused on what it was that God wanted in me, what he was asking for in me, that it made it that much easier. And ever since then, I mean, we got married, obviously, and had kids and, the house and all that stuff. At the end of the day, my mantra has always been, God brought me to this point and he's not going to leave me now.
Yeah.
And that's every step of the way, whether it's, marriage or kids or, a financial acquisition, whatever the case may be. That's kind of been an ongoing thing. It's like, what's the purpose in looking back? What are you trying to see?
Right.
Right. What about the moments that they were talking about how divorce rate is so high and everything, especially amongst millennials, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially amongst millennials than any other group. So what, after you like, I'm not going to look back and you're serious about your marriage and all these things. And then you have that moment, you know what I mean? Stupid now when you look back, like that was stupid.
Right.
But it wasn't at the moment. What makes you not go back in that moment?
Me?
Yeah, what makes you not go back in that moment? Like, bye, peace out.
Now?
No,
Oh,
in that moment. No, but we didn't have kids before.
Oh, nothing made me in that moment. I packed all my stuff up. I was out, gone.
But it was still time.
Listen, one more time. I packed everything up. You don't know
No, he
how.
did. He literally packed everything up.
Listen, if we had a Ford Focus at the time. This was like year 2 of our marriage.
3.
Yeah, year 3.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried to fit a house or a bedroom in a Ford Focus. It really doesn't work out well. And I didn't realize that, logistically speaking, of course. I'm trying to military pack, get everything in as tight as possible. It didn't work out. It didn't. I realized I was going to have to come back regardless.
Man, who helped you put your stuff back?
Me?
That's right. Because you shouldn't have went back. You shouldn't have went back. I should have went forward.
The same person that took it out. She was sitting there on the bed on her phone like.
Point is, you'll have lots of moments where you want to go back.
Absolutely.
But you have to stay focused on why you started.
Mm-hmm.
And at least remember why you started. And begin again, because if everybody's real, I mean, you can look on like all different kinds of social media platforms, and everybody has these beautiful lives, but you don't know what they're truly dealing with,
Mhm.
the things that they have to battle, and the growth places, that's what I'm gonna call the growth places that they have to visit and through to get where the next place where they need to be. And if we're real, though every couple's different, everyone has to visit that. Yeah.
And in the ministry that you guys have, the Built to Last Marriages, are there any like tips that you guys typically provide for groups that are kind of getting over that initial, in my opinion, I think it's like kind of year 3, year 4, depending on, where you're at logistically, whether you're with family or not, that everybody kind of hits this massive onslaught of like anything that the enemy can throw at you, from previous relationships to, if you dealt with, XYZ, you wouldn't have to do that, to financial problems, all of those initial things that really can help push you away from each other for like year 3, 4, somewhere in that range. Is there any tips that you guys typically provide to couples for that, to help get through that?
Like you said, every situation is different, because some people thrive in their first 3 years and they don't have any issues, right? And like you said, that wall comes up and then you don't know what to do. But I think a lot of times what we try to encourage is to understand that all growth comes with pain, right?
Mhm.
So if you ain't really feeling no pain, you're really not growing.
You better preach.
It's how we manage that pain as we grow. And then, like she said, when we started out, is to know that we're not against each other; we're on the same team.
Sure.
And so, getting over that honeymoon phase is the next phase is knowing, okay, we've married. That was one decision that we made together. Where are we going? Where do we see ourselves? Where do we see our marriage? What do we need to invest in our marriage now? Because we invested so much in a wedding, right? So we ignored that we got to be married after the wedding too. And so a lot of newlyweds, when you get through that honeymoon phase, it's to really know that with growth comes pain. How to manage that pain.
Wow. That's good stuff. I hope y'all taking the little notes. I took some notes too. All right.
See the background?
I'm on the background.
Save
Type. Save that for later. All right. All right. Let's go. Oh, Lord. Who was it? Oh, it was us. Oh, Lord. All right. It's back to us.
Back to us for the word?
Back to us. All right. Here's the next word for the Sloans. Take. You have a word?
You do.
Now, the Lord told me you do.
He told you? He told
He
you?
don't lie to me. Go ahead.
He did. He did tell you that.
5.
What's that word? Wait, no.
2. Y'all can't come up with a
Take me to the King. That's the only thing I don't know. It's something about take. No, it doesn't count. But isn't there's a scripture about, right?
Yeah, you can take it by force.
Take it by force.
The
There you
violent.
go. The violent take it by force. There you go.
I personally am a non-violent person because this is
Yeah.
on
Okay.
Facebook.
Yeah.
E.
Because this is on Facebook. Disclaimer.
Go ahead and speak by faith. All right. All right. Next word. Next word to the Browns is tied. And thank you, Tamala Man, for saving me with Take It to the King.
Okay.
All right. Day.
Better is one day in your courts.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
Child.
Rejoice.
Not my child.
A lovely day. Come on, Kirk.
Oh, happy day.
Sister Act.
Happy.
Brother Ahmad.
Let me stop. Oh my gosh. But I like the scripture that you chose. You said better is one day in your courts.
Mhm.
What is it? Better than one day in your house than 1,000 elsewhere.
Yeah.
Is that right? Or I know that's the song lyrics. I don't know if it's correct verse. Okay.
Brother, brother Israel. That's what that is.
No, we're gonna stop.
That one
We're
Israel?
gonna stop. We're gonna stop.
That what Israel holds?
I'm bad with names.
So what do y'all think about that? To me, the first thing that came to me was like millennials getting. There are a lot of millennials that are missing in the church.
Mm.
Some sitting in the church, some missing in the church, and then there's the few churches on the hands that have tons of millennials.
Right.
Tons.
So you got varieties here, you know.
Mhm.
I definitely would love to see more millennials in the church because after all, they are going to carry the torch for the next generation.
Sure.
You know, what's y'all thoughts about that?
I think we're like the forgotten group.
Wow, really?
Yeah, when you think about churches, you usually have a huge number of youth, right? And
Right.
then you have a lot of old members, right, that are in their 50s and 40s and stuff like that. But that 25 to 38-ish group, where are they? What are they doing? They can't really. It's like
club.
right. It's that midlife crisis time where you're like, okay, I'm still young, but I'm kind of old, right? And so I think a lot of it has to do with being relatable to that particular group because you don't really know where you fit in.
Right.
So
wow,
that was one of the reasons why we created, our marriage ministry, because we wanted to create a group so where you can fit in and understand that, you don't have to wait till you're 50 to start living. And just because you're 20 doesn't mean that you can't, have this responsibility or have a marriage or have this level of responsibility in life.
Right.
Well, a lot of times too, and this is something like my wife and I had kind of talked about in the background. One of the challenges with that particular age group, typically when it's the youth group, there is youth following, there is more of a peer level type mentorship, and there's typically maybe not even mentorship, there's like a peer level, and then you have one more senior person, whether that's the youth pastor or a minister that really relates very well to the youth.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's still, as far as responsibilities and everything that goes on with the church, the background, things like that, it's almost like there's an attitude that, hey, you're still kids, just be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But you're only a kid until you're not.
Right.
A lot of times what happens is people move away from, I don't want to be seen as a kid anymore. I want to be seen as an adult. Once you hit, that 15, 16 range, typically you want to be seen more as a responsible adolescent moving into adulthood. But a lot of times the church doesn't transition with the youth and giving them responsibility to say, you know what, you're not a kid anymore. I agree. Since you're not a kid anymore, I'm not going to quite give you the responsibility of an adult. But what I am going to give you is I'm going to give you the responsibility that I think you can manage at your current level. Right. So I think in Jewish culture, that's something that is a lot better embraced. Mm-hmm. Whether it's them working in the background with their parents or with somebody in the business, they're learning the aspect of not just the material side, but also the spiritual side and practicality. So a lot of times what I feel is that in the millennial age, because we've been told we were kids for so long, now when we really have responsibility, it's like, oh, they gave me all the stuff to do. Now what do I do?
Right.
We'll experience, everything that the world has to offer. And it's like that time period is when everybody goes out and they find whatever it is that means comfort to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they get so wrapped up in that you miss that 15-year gap. And there's groups that are following directly behind you. The people that are 2-3 years behind you. They're like, oh, I looked up to him when he was 17. Now he's out there. He's 21. What is he doing? Oh, he's going to drink. Hey, that must be what it is. Let me go through that. And a lot of times, because like I said, the church doesn't transition with people through those different levels. It's almost like there's a time period where they're gone and then they come back and they just want to just love me back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Take me back. Show me what it means to be a Christian or a follower of Christ all over again.
Right.
And that window is just gone from that person's life.
Mm.
So those are kind of like in one of the conversations that we've been having. But how do we really help address that? So obviously this virtual platform is one way to kind of interact.
And too, about what you were saying too, like people want to follow people they admire.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not shading people who are older, but I mean, if you're not, like, everywhere you look around you, it's like society is speaking to you, look like this, be like this, that. So if you go to church and it's the opposite, doesn't, for everybody, I can't speak for everybody, but sometimes it doesn't attract you too.
Right. Because we were always looking for something fresh.
Right. Yeah. But you were saying, what do I think is a solution would be? So how to get them?
If there is a solution, what things can we, I don't want to call it necessarily a solution, more so, a path forward, ways to kind of take incremental growth levels. Like you were talking about, there's no real growth without pain. Actually, you know what? Can I share a story?
Yeah. Oh wait, what is
It's
it?
your story. It's
Wait.
about- So
Wait. Shh.
we it's not about us.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we had shifted our ministry away from the old school method of giving.
Mhm.
People were
okay,
just
yeah.
coming in doing tithes and offering, bringing in money and cash. There's an associated cost with each one of those things, and I'm not going to get into numbers and things like that.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority, the larger group of people are people that are post millennial. So whatever that generation is beyond 40, and they fought tooth and nail. Nobody really wanted to move over to that because it was uncomfortable.
Right.
So after this is what, a year and a half we're in this.
You were in it before it started, so I don't know.
I started so.
Yeah.
So we're roughly about a year in. We looked at the overall cost difference on the back end, and really what it turned out to be was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30% savings. So just imagine that for every $1 that you are giving to the church, 30% of it goes out for service related fees in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Those aren't good numbers because that's things that can actually stay and help build, the youth ministry or missions or whatever the case may be. It's not just about money, but how is it that we take all of these things that we see, all of the challenges? I mean, you went into the military young, so basically fresh out of high school, you joined up. How do we help build a bridge between the generation that is being forgotten or avoided, and the current generation that still stays in the church? The way that I found worked best was for me to sit down with each person one-on-one. And hey, listen, I'm not keeping your credit card information. I don't need your credit card.
That's if you only have a medium to small church. If it's a mega church, it's not gonna.
Then you need more people.
Maybe home groups. I don't know.
That's an option too.
That's
but
what they do.
When you look at it biblically and how the plan that God kind of gave Moses, it wasn't just an overall thing for the entire group of people. It was broken down into tribes as well.
Tribes.
So each one of us have our own responsibility in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
To build. But if you're a psalmist and you're in the tribe of Judah, that's perfectly fine. There's a tribe of Levi. All these other tribes have different responsibilities. How can each one of us individually help be a bridge in between that generation and this generation?
I like what you said about being a bridge. Yeah. What do y'all think? How could we?
I think that bridge has to be very transparent. And I feel like for us that are in this middle group, and I'm not blaming our parents because they told us what we needed to hear, but it wasn't everything we needed to hear. Because you can't really say, okay, you're living this type of way, and then when you get outside of these four walls, life hits you a different way than what they were telling you.
Right.
You're not prepared for it. So I think that bridge has to be a bridge of preparation, but not judgment.
Right.
Because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to walk across this bridge. You're going to make some mistakes, but we're here. Like you said, that love, so when you're coming back, that love is that grace that we're preaching. God, God gives us this grace and that it's sufficient and that he loves us in spite of our flaws. Why can't we do that?
That's right.
Right.
To each other. And so I think that's where that bridge, how we can one step to a solution, I believe, is through transparency and actually telling them the truth. Tell them that that we got pregnant before, we got married. It's okay.
It happens.
We made a mistake, but God's grace, he blessed that seed. You know what I mean? And then there's other stories out there, where you may have been abused and these things like that. I think if we can come out of that closet of hiding, expose it, then God can heal it.
Love that.
And you have to be, in relation to that, you have to be transparent with your children anyway.
Right.
It's really your decision how you're going to be transparent and when. There's certain things, our oldest daughter's 8. There's certain things we can be transparent with her about in an 8-year-old level that when she hits 16 is going to be a very different way.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Totally different way.
They got
you guys.
Not one of them. She talented too anyway. Check her out.
Yeah, having a 16-year-old, it's a challenge in
It's
itself.
totally different. That's another growing pain.
Yeah.
That you realize this relationship is blossoming in my hand. This is still my baby, but my baby's growing up. And for me personally, that relationship shift has been difficult because she's like, Mommy, like, for example, one rule is don't eat in my house, around my house. We don't eat dinner at the dinner table, but then she'll ask and she's like, oh, can I go in the room and eat? I'm like, okay. And then one day she'll just take it upon herself to go in the room and eat, like the rules done changed somehow. And I'm like, the rules changed. So having to have that conversation, well, mommy, why you were more like a parent back then, and now you try to be like a friend now. I said, Maya, I was a parent. I'm still your mom. That's never going to change. But our relationship, the dynamics of it are shifting and growing as you're maturing. Some things are foundational. It don't change. But I can be a little bit more flexible and more transparent with you. I always tell her there's nothing new under the sun, because she think that they doing now what we ain't never done.
Right.
Oh, that's
something else.
Right. We're like, nah, y'all ain't dealt with it like we did.
Yeah.
The old and the new, what they say, the new and familiar is really the old and familiar. There's nothing new under the sun. So I tell her, Maya, some rules are just, they're foundational.
Right.
But as our relationship matures, I can be your friend more than I have to be a parent. So I have to talk to you on a different level so that you can relate, so that you can understand, so that you don't think that there is this huge gap. Like we say in the church, I feel like sometimes we feel overlooked and lost and forgotten about because there's this huge gap. It feels like there's this gap. And it's like, nah, well, they can teach me some things, but they don't understand, what this is. And then it's like, well, that didn't work for you in the past, so why would you tell me? I think sometimes we get the wisdom wrapped with wounds, and we like, nah, I don't want that wisdom, because it could be wounds, and we're careful about that. So it's a huge gap, like you guys said, that really being that bridge requires transparency for real.
And I like the way that you put it with it could be wrapped in wounds, because a lot of times that that millennial generation, because they don't have that that bridge or that big brother big sister relationship that's relatable, where they have the transparency, that a lot of times they go out and they get some wounds, as you said, and then it's up to the more senior or the elder people in the church to go back and help, because now they've already been through that. They did that in their youth. It's nothing new to them. Oh, baby, you got pregnant. That's fine. Oh, baby, you ended up losing XYZ financially. That's fine. I lost the whole house. Don't even worry about it. They bring it back to like even perspective. But how is it that we can actually move from leaving this generation abandoned to making sure that the generation is accepted? And like you said, the only way to really do that is through transparency.
Transparency.
What I'm hearing is there's a communication gap.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And it's different, whether it's the giving by tech or the combo or whatever the case, is that if the other generation really wants to reach our generation, which is millennial generation, then they have to be willing to let us push them forward in the ways that get us going, and not what they're used to.
Right.
Even if it means to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna finish up this game. Let's see. I know it was oh Lord, back to us again. You guys did day.
Not day. That's right.
It's right. Yeah. So, all right. So now our word this moment. Man.
That's on you.
He did it.
I did that one. I did the last one. That was on you.
This is easy.
Man. I did
No, I did take. You did. The man is
I
on
did
you.
a bunch of them before you did take though.
All right, that's fine. Go
All right,
ahead.
fine. Oh my
Come
God. Okay, let us make man in our own image. Boom.
There you go. Come on, Alfred. What you got one?
Come on, you got one in there. The Spirit told me. Come on.
I do, but mine is when Adam saw Eve and he said, "Whoa, man."
Oh, okay, we'll take that.
So you're not gonna tell me the story why I thought he said.
No,
whoa?
why did he say that? Why he say whoa?
Because
Whoa.
Whoa. He's like, Lord, that's me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, we are the better looking species, though.
Right.
I'll agree. All right. Last word, and we're going to conclude with the Browns on this word here. And the word is breathe. You got 10 seconds.
Breathe again. No.
I like Tony, but
No.
Yeah.
I know. You are the air I breathe.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Love it.
This is the air I breathe.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all. What's another one?
Who's on it?
it's a Hill song, right?
I don't know who sang that. I thought
A few people sung it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few people sung it.
Yeah, back in the day.
I'm desperate for you.
One thing that came to my mind was when God created me, He gave me a breath of His life.
Right, a breath of His life.
Oh yes,
Definitely.
And He made you breathe again.
And we need to breathe good today because we inside. So we need all that breath of life.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Word Association. Definitely had a good time with you guys. Thank you for the nuggets that you dropped. Did you want to say something here?
Something here.
Okay, something here. Well, that concludes our segment tonight. And I hope you guys join us another time for another game of association. So good night, everybody. And for those who watched the replay, thank you for watching.